Hey guys, it's Lorty and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am so excited because I am finally going to be introducing you to all 7 of the snakes currently in my reptile family. I have a few different species that I love to keep and they are all just so amazing. So without further delay, let's get started. I'm gonna be showing you all of them and talking a little bit about each one of them and what their species is. And I hope that you guys will enjoy seeing the snakes that I'm currently keeping. The first snake I'm gonna show you is this amazing boy right here, and this is Haru. This was actually the first snake that I acquired in my reptile family, and he is a ball python. His morph is a banana pied, so he is a mix of both the banana gene and the pied gene. The banana gives him this beautiful yellow pattern with the spots, and the pied gene gives him those big blotches of white that you see closer toward his tail. He is an absolutely stunning snake, and he is also my most gentle snake besides my Russian rat that I'll be showing you in a little while. If anyone were to come over to my home and want to handle or interact with one of my snakes, I would definitely pull out this boy first. He's just so sweet and I have so much trust for his behavior. I've had him the longest and he just has the greatest personality. He is absolutely puppy dog gentle. He can be a little bit shy at times as far as his head is concerned. That's just something that the ball pythons are aware of. They are very, very aware of their head. Being a non-venomous terrestrial species, they do have to be a little bit head shy in order to survive in this world because they are very vulnerable to predators. But the ball python is absolutely one of my favorite species of snake to keep. A lot of people do question their eligibility for beginners just because they can be a little bit picky about food. I personally, with my husbandry and my care of these animals, have never experienced any issues with them eating, going off of food, or being shy to take food, so I've been really lucky. But I do know some individuals that are very difficult at feeding time, and it does take an experienced keeper to get them to eat. I would just say if you're looking at acquiring one of these as your first snake, do a lot of research, visit a lot of pet shops, and get one that's well established on food, and you shouldn't have a problem as long as your husbandry is on point. But yes, so this is Haru. His name is actually the Japanese word for spring because I thought his pattern kind of reminded me of wild yellow flowers growing through snow. So I just thought he kind of looked like a fresh spring. So that is Haru, my absolute favorite boy that I have had the longest and also my first snake. He is just such a gem. I love cuddling with this snake, putting on a movie and just getting into bed with him, and he'll just lay there with me for hours just relaxing. He's very, very tolerant of handling and he enjoys coming out and exploring. This next snake I'm going to show you is absolutely beautiful and one of a kind. This girl's name is Selfie, and she is also a ball python. She is one of 3 ball pythons that I currently own, and her morph is called an albino blitz paradox. So I don't know if you can see that there, but she has the beautiful albino coloration with the red eyes, but then she also has these glitches of the wild type morph mixed in with that gorgeous albino color. So she's actually basically 2 snakes in one, which they call a paradox, or some people also refer to them as chimera. And she is an absolutely gorgeous ball python, completely one of a kind. The paradox is not a breedable morph, so it's not a gene that passes on to offspring. It's just a random mutation that occurs. It's not common, but it's slightly common in ball pythons. You can definitely find a lot of really cool paradox ball pythons at shows and also on Morph Market. A lot of breeders get lucky and hit these really cool snakes during their breeding season. And this girl I picked up last year from Sean Bradley. I absolutely fell in love with her when I saw her on Morph Market. And she was just a teeny tiny girl when I first got her, and now she is huge and she's only gonna get bigger. Females do get larger in ball pythons. She'll probably be about 5 feet, as where Haru will probably be about 4 feet. So this is probably going to be my biggest ball python that I have in my snake family. She's really, really gentle, really friendly despite being blind. She just occasionally does not know where she is in time and space. So for those reasons, I try not to handle her a great deal, just not to stress her out because she can't see. But not being able to see has not affected her eating habits whatsoever. She is actually my most aggressive feeder and never misses a meal and never misses a strike on a rat either. She's absolutely wonderful to keep, super gentle and extremely beautiful. This next little boy in my reptile family is my most recent ball python. I was not planning to pick up this snake at all. I actually was planning to get my snake that's right back here. Her name is Jess. And when I went to the reptile store to pick her up, I was opening tubs and my friend had this one in one of the tubs, and he just came right out of the tub and was super friendly and inquisitive, which is totally not like a ball python. Typically they're very shy. And I was just like, oh my God, I love him. I have to have him. So I scooped him right up and brought him home. And it was just a few days before Christmas, so he was an amazing Christmas gift to give myself this year. So this little boy's name is Nude, and he is a banana cinnamon ball python, and he's just a tiny little baby. He's only a few months old, which is why he is significantly smaller than the other two that I showed you. And this is his pattern. So you can see the beautiful banana markings, and he's starting to get a lot of spots. He'll get more as he ages. But then he's also got that gorgeous cinnamon color mixed into the pattern, which is just absolutely beautiful. He's gonna be a stunning snake. But more than that, I was just so drawn to his personality and how gentle and friendly he is. He is not shy at all, and he's super fun to cuddle and lounge around with and handle. I am not sure what his current weight is, but he is very, very tiny. He's only a few months old at this point, and he's gonna get much bigger than this. Nude currently takes the award for being my most precious snake. He's just absolutely adorable, and I love holding him. I would never say that a snake loves being handled or likes being handled. They just genuinely tolerate being handled. But Nude honestly has so many things that he does that are so cute. It honestly makes you think he actually likes being held. If I'm sitting with him on my bed or doing anything where I have him out, instead of trying to slither away and hide somewhere, he actually either wants to wrap around my wrist or sit close to my hand. He's completely unafraid, and he's a really fun little pet to just get out and cuddle with. These ball pythons are not very fast moving. They're not super explorative, so I can trust that he can be on my bed with me for a little while without wandering off. And he's just a really, really cute snake to play with. He's just a really sweet little guy. Oh my goodness, and he just yawned. I can't, my heart. If you can't love this snake, then you just can't love snakes, I'm sorry. So this next snake I'm going to show you, I'm not going to hold for very long because she's currently at the point in her life where she just doesn't tolerate any sort of handling. But this is my Western hognose snake, Prairie. And she's just a baby, so she's extremely defensive right now. She will musk on you, she will hiss at you, she will strike at you. And she's just not the most handleable animal in my snake collection, but she is really cool, and I think when she grows up, she's gonna be a lot calmer. She is just a normal type, but she's a normal red, so she does display patterns of like a high red, orange color, but she's still a normal. And she is a really cute little snake. Hognoses have this incredibly adorable snout that kind of turns up like a little pig nose, which is where they get their more common name from. And she is a really, really cool animal. I absolutely love hognoses, but they are known to be extremely temperamental, and Prairie definitely lives up to that standard. I've never been bitten by her, luckily, because this is a rear-fanged venomous colubrid. which essentially means that she is venomous and she can envenomate you if she were to walk her back teeth onto you. So unlike the front fang venomous, where it's very easy for them to envenomate you with a strike, this snake would really have to get a hold of you in order to get some venom in you. But it is still a good idea not to get envenomated. It's very likened to a bee sting, so people with, bug or bee allergies should really be careful around these animals. This snake does not bite, but she definitely bluffs that she is going to bite you. So it is something to watch out for with them, especially as they get older. But at this point, I don't worry too much about her, and typically their venom is only strong with frogs. They're big frog-eating snakes. They'll eat a variety of different prey. They'll eat little baby quail, they'll eat frogs, they'll eat insects, and they will also eat mice, which is what she is currently feeding on. And I don't know if you can tell, but she's all puffed up. She's trying to do like a little cobra hood right now to show me that she's big and bad and I should be really afraid of her. But she's not at all, and she's actually being really calm. Normally she's absolutely flailing all over the place to the point where I feel bad even holding her at all. So this is definitely not an animal that I handle very frequently, but one that I do enjoy seeing. They can be really friendly as they age into adults, and they're really fun to watch in their enclosures. They can be really active even during the day, which is nice. So that is Prairie, but I did want to also show you, she kind of has like a little rattlesnake tail. It's really difficult to see on her right now, but the markings she has on her tail remind me of a little rattlesnake. So that's why I called her Prairie, just like a prairie rattlesnake. So this girl is one of my absolute favorite species that I keep. It is an Elaphia shrankii, also known as a Russian rat snake. And this girl's name is Jess. She is probably hands down my favorite snake and my favorite species of snake that I have ever kept. So I could literally go on a rant about how much I recommend this species, both for beginner snake keepers and for advanced hobbyists. This is an absolutely amazing species of snake. I also fondly refer to them as the golden retriever of snakes because they are just so friendly, so social, and just so outgoing that you really can't beat them. This is her enclosure back here, and I recently just upgraded her because she is starting to get a bit bigger, but she is still quite a small girl. She is just a baby at this point. And this is one of the largest species of colubrids. She's actually gonna reach up to 7 feet long. Most females get on average about 6 to 7 feet. And so she's gonna be a really large rat snake. But the nice thing about these guys is throughout their lives, they remain completely gentle. So you're never gonna have an issue with them striking at you or being hostile or aggressive and defensive. These guys are really, really social, really friendly, and really gentle snakes. This is a really low maintenance species that's always happy to see you and always extremely inquisitive and friendly. They eat really well, they're very handleable, and they are a very sizable snake. Jess is just honestly a doll. She's always at the front of her enclosure. Every time I open the door, she comes right out to me. She's extremely friendly if I'm hanging out with her in my room or on the bed. She's always crawling all over me. She doesn't try to get away and hide. And if I'm doing something kind of like further away from her, she'll usually come up to me to investigate and see what I'm doing. She loves exploring her enclosure. That's why I actually recently upgraded her, even though she is still so tiny. She utilizes every inch of her enclosure. I would say really the only drawback to keeping this species is the size of their enclosure, especially a female like this is definitely going to need at least a minimum of a 6-foot enclosure in order to thrive and be happy and be able to move around. They're extremely active snakes. They're always doing something, exploring. If you put some leaf litter in their enclosure, you can always hear them slithering around on the leaf litter. They're very active during the day and night, and they're just a really high energy social species that likes exploring and interacting with their enclosure. So for sure, you do want to make sure that you give them the proper enrichment that they need, which is a lot of climbing space, a lot of vertical space, a lot of horizontal stretch space. So this is definitely one to consider. but you do have to understand that they are going to need a lot of behavioral enrichment and a very big enclosure ultimately as adults. On top of having literally the best personality out of any of my snakes, this girl's also going to end up being extremely beautiful. You can already start to see her color coming through. Jess is going to eventually mature into a jet black snake with lots of yellow banding and a lot of yellow around her face. That is typically how the Russian rat snake looks visually. They can either be a little bit more tan or extremely yellow, and I don't know if you guys can tell just by looking at her in this video, but she's already got such a bright, vivid yellow pattern that's just going to get even more prominent as she grows into an adult. This next lady I've got here is my girl Soleil, and she is a boa constrictor imperator. She's just a baby. I've had her since she was about a month old, and I got her from a local reptile shop here. She is the Super Sun Glow Boa Morph, which personally I tend to like the more naturalistic looking boas, especially the red tail boa constrictor, but that is not what Soleil is. She is the imperator. And she's absolutely gorgeous. If you can see her little tail there, but she's got this really amazing blushed, it's almost like a salmon pink color in person, but on camera it definitely reads quite a bit more orange. But really, really beautiful morph. The name Soleil means sun in French, and I just thought that was really fitting for a super sun glow boa. Despite the fact that I do like the more natural stuff, I just could not pass up Soleil. She has the most gentle puppy dog personality out of any boa that I've ever been around, and she's just super docile and sweet. Really friendly, really nice to hold. She eats like a powerhouse. She never misses a meal, and she's a really aggressive feeder. But you can cuddle her, you can have her near your face. She's a very, very trustworthy snake. I don't worry about being bitten or tagged by this girl at all. She's just very, very docile and friendly. I would say that Soleil is very similar to a ball python in the way that you can handle them. They're a very docile species of snake. They don't really do a whole lot. But the contrast to a ball python with the boa constrictors, not only the size, but also their inquisitiveness. She can be very inquisitive. She tends to watch things a little bit closer and just overall displays a little bit higher grade of intelligence than the ball pythons do. So she's really interesting to have out and interact with her. She's not really a type of snake that wants to get away or go explore your whole house like Jess would. She's very much like content just wrapping around your hand and then staying put for like hours on end. So really, really fun species. Not all boas are this gentle and docile, and believe me, the row of teeth that are in their mouth is absolutely insane. This species does catch birds. Pretty much anything that can be semi-arboreal or feed on birds is gonna have a really massive row of teeth in their mouth because it's very difficult to catch prey that's quickly flying by. So those teeth have to be able to be very serrated to reach out and grab those birds. So you definitely want to handle a boa constrictor a lot while they're young. Get them super gentle and tame because you do not want to get smoked by an adult boa constrictor. This girl will be the largest snake in my collection when she's done growing. Currently, I have her in this huge melamine viv right now, but she is going to need an upgrade within the next couple of years, and Soleil can easily reach an adult size of between 7 to 8 feet in length. And finally, the piece de resistance of my reptile family is this amazing girl right here. This is Needle. Needle is my rhino rat snake, and she is definitely the most uncommon colubrid that I have in my snake family. It was by complete coincidence that I was able to acquire this girl. I actually got her from my friend Matt over at Rad's Reptiles on Instagram. And he had purchased her from a breeder at a show. So this is a very uncommon species. You typically do not see them in most reptile keepers' collections, but I do hope that they will gain popularity and be more readily available because they are such an awesome snake to keep. Very, very easy and so beautiful. So Needle got her name, actually I named her when my friend Matt still owned her. And that is because, I don't know if you guys can see, she has a little horn right on top of her face. And researchers believe that the horn acts as a rudder when they're going through the water. They also think that it might resemble a grub, so it would attract prey to come and eat the grub, and then the snake would grab onto them. It's not entirely known what it is for, but it is speculated that it could be one of those two different things. But the horn is what makes this snake so individual and so unique. I do refer to her often as my unicorn snake. Her color and pattern is just absolutely exquisite. She's this beautiful turquoise teal green with lots of little specks of this baby blue in between her scales, and there's even some black markings. And then as you can see, she's got that beautiful black eyeliner and that adorable horn on her head. And she's just a really awesome snake. This is not one that I particularly hold very often. I might get Needle out once a month, but she's a very beautiful animal. I have her huge enclosure up here. It is a 2 by 3 foot enclosure, and she really enjoys utilizing all of the space in there. Because again, similar to my Russian rat snake, this is going to be a very large, long colubrid. So they do like a lot of horizontal space to be able to stretch out. But they're also a semi-arboreal and semi-aquatic species. So she's got a lot of room to go up and down, and she also does have a really large water bowl inside of her terrarium. But mostly Needle is just absolutely adorable. She can be a total diva about a lot of things, and food is one of them. She's definitely my most picky eating snake. You cannot feed her from tongs or she'll get super offended. You cannot give her anything that even remotely smells like a rat. She will only eat mice. There's a few proclivities about her that are very specific to the way she wants to be handled and fed, and the way she even wants to drink water. Although she will soak in her water dish a lot, she typically does not drink from a water dish. The only time she drinks is when you spray her. So I do have to be really cognizant to make sure that I'm misting the enclosure every day, not only for humidity, but also so that she can get a drink, and I basically just call it rainfall. This is a captive bred individual, so she's captive bred and born. She was raised by a breeder in the US and bred right here in the US. And for that reason, I think it does make her a little bit more gentle. She's been handled since the time she was just a baby. And so she does have a really good temperament and personality. She's only bitten me a few times, and it was in the same day that I actually brought her home. So when I first put her in her enclosure, I made the mistake of kind of messing with her tail, and she is lightning fast. She reached around in about 2 seconds and tagged me about 5 times. And it was a pretty intense bite for such a small snake. She lives up to the Needle name of her nose. She's got little needles in her freaking mouth. So definitely, I think it's a good thing that this animal is so socialized and so friendly and gentle, because if she was a bitey snake, it would really suck because the teeth in her mouth are extremely sharp. Hi. Hi, Wormy. Hi. Oh my gosh, where you go? Where you go? Hi, Needle. She's so cute. So Needle has been an absolute joy to own in my reptile family, although she is the snake that I interact with the least in terms of actually handling her. I do love seeing her in her enclosure. She's absolutely beautiful. I've taken so many gorgeous pictures of this snake because she is really friendly and docile, so she doesn't mind me sticking a camera in her face. But she just does have more of a fragile body structure, so I just don't feel extremely comfortable handling her or cuddling her all the time like I do with my ball pythons. I do prefer to just kind of watch her from a distance and enjoy her experiencing her natural enclosure rather than constantly holding her. So that is all 7 of my snakes, guys. I hope you enjoyed meeting them. I'm gonna go ahead and put this girl away now and wrap this up. But hopefully this gave you guys some really good inspiration for snakes that you might want to own, or if you've never considered owning a species of snake before, maybe this got you thinking about possibly acquiring one. You would not be disappointed at all. I highly recommend any of the snakes that I have shown you today. They're all some of my most favorite species, and these guys are just so special to me. So I hope you enjoyed meeting them. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you all in the next video.